Welcome to Unpopped Review, movie reviews from a movie lover and not a movie critic. Well, I have done my top 10 movies of the year, and now it's time for the 10 worst. Just like before, I want to give a few qualifications before I begin. First of all, I haven't seen all the movies this year, especially some of the bad ones. A lot of times when I'm about to go to a movie, I look at some of the reviews and I see that it's getting really bad ones, and I just decide not to go. So some of them like Snow White and the Huntsman, Meet the Blacks, and some of those other really bad movies that came out this year, I just haven't seen. So a lot of my bottom 10 are still really popular movies, just ones that I didn't like. And with that, we gotta talk about my 3 qualifications of how I rank my movies. First, I rank the overall movies, such as the character, story, actors, things like that. And then I think about how I felt when I left the theater. Was I happy, sad, encouraged, disappointed I saw it, etc. And my third point is how rewatchable is it? Do I have a desire to go back and watch it again? Now that we have all the logistics out of the way, let me reveal my 10 worst movies of the year. My number 10 movie isn't a movie that I really hated, just a movie that I'm not gonna see again, and it was Passengers. I thought that Chris Pine and Jennifer Lawrence both did a good job, but it was just a very boring and slow story. Especially about the midpoint, the story just becomes very boring, very predictable, and filled with a lot of plot holes. So while I did kind of enjoy it, I'm just not gonna watch it again. Number 9 was a sequel that I was super looking forward to, but it was just disappointed in the execution, and that is XMen Apocalypse. XMen Apocalypse is just fine in certain moments. Like, I do like the Quicksilver moment, I like the Wolverine moment, but overall it was just boring. Apocalypse was used absolutely terribly, and I'm so tired of the Magneto and Xavier love-hate relationship. They just need to be enemies, and they just need to fight each other. That's what they are best at. And if they ever finally get back to that, I think their relationship will be good again. Now, number 8 is Now You See Me 2. Now, in my review, I did say that Now You See Me 2 was better than the first one, and I do still agree with that. I like the way that they showed how the tricks were done. I just feel, once again, it was a little sloppy. It pandered a lot to the Chinese market because most movie does take place in China, and it just could have been tightened up quite a bit. I still do like the idea of a group of magicians being con artists. I just wish it was done better. Number 7 was one of the video game movies that was released this year, Warcraft. Now, there were lots of things that I really liked with Warcraft. I liked the orcs, I liked the design, I liked the way they moved, the weight that they had to them. But the entire story and everything to do with the humans was boring, drawn out, and just would have been much better cut entirely. I think I would see a Warcraft sequel, but only if I think the story was tightened up a little bit. Number 6 is London Has Fallen. Now, I loved Olympus Has Fallen with Gerard Butler and Aaron Eckhart. It's just the same thing again, the same over-the-top action, and I think they just could have taken another step and done something a little bit more interesting. Number 5 is a little controversial because anytime somebody says it's a bad movie, there's a whole bunch of fans out there that come out to defend it. It is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. As some of you know, I am a pretty big comic nerd. I read comics all the time. I've read plenty of Batman, plenty of Superman, and I love the stories of when they come together and fight each other. The problem with BVS is I don't think Zack Snyder truly understands who Batman and Superman are. He keeps trying to make them how he wants them to be rather than a true comic book adaptation. And the characters are so strong and so rich on their own, you don't need to change them that much. Now, I'm still excited to see future DC movies like Wonder Woman and Justice League. I just really want Zack Snyder to let go of the reins and let someone else latch on so they can do a better characterization of it. And hopefully with Ben Affleck directing the Batman movie, that's exactly what we're gonna get. Number 4 is a sequel that's long overdue, but nobody asked for. It's Independence Day Resurgence. Now, I don't think that the original Independence Day is a great movie, but it's at least a fun movie with fun characters. All the characters, even the ones they brought back, were boring, and I just didn't want to see them in the movie. I would have rather had Independence Day not be touched so that I can still enjoy what was there. Number 3 is another sequel that nobody asked for. It's Alice Through the Looking Glass. This movie, honestly, there's nothing really to say about it except it just didn't need to be made. It was boring, uninteresting, didn't go anywhere, and doesn't make me excited to see another one. I just want this kind of CG style that was started in Alice in Wonderland to stop, to be killed off and not come back. And hopefully with how poorly Alice Through the Looking Glass did, it will. Number 2 is another movie I was really excited for because I love horror, I love thrillers, and when I I saw the trailers, I thought it looked really interesting. It is the sci-fi thriller Morgan. Now once again, when you get to these kind of bad movies, there's not really much to say except for it was boring. There wasn't much going on, it just seemed to be dragging the whole way through. And for someone that loves thrillers and horror movies, I really wanted to like this one, but unfortunately this is one that I'm never going to see again and it's just going to disappear into oblivion. And now we're finally at number 1, my most hated movie of the year. Now most of these other movies, although I didn't like them, I do think that they had good parts. I think they had good elements to them. But my number 1 pick has nothing good about it. It was boring, the action was too fast and confusing, and there was a pee joke that lasted about 30 seconds. And that should have tipped you off because my number 1 pick for worst movie of 2016 is Angry Birds. I can't tell you how much I hated Angry Birds. Even though there's not a lot of story with the mobile game Angry Birds, I do think that they could have done a better job. The action was just boring slapstick kid humor, which is fine if you want to bring your kids to it, but having an adult sit through it is just excruciating. It's just fart joke after butt joke after pee joke, and that's the entire humor of the movie. And those kinds of things just bring down a movie even lower than it is. So those are the 10 worst movies I've seen in 2016. If you want to see my ranking of all the movies I've seen this year, head on over to the link below or movieblogger.com. And what movies do you think are the worst of 2016? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always keep it unpopped.